Marina Mabrey has broken her silence finally about shoving Caitlin Clark.
We're not doing this. Apparently, Marina Mabrey has now come forward and said she overreacted with the Caitlin Clark foul. Overreacted? I feel like you're trying to cover your ass because now they're talking about him.
Caitlin Clark continues to break records while also challenging egos. Marina Mabrey admitted to targeting and shoving her. Yes, you heard that correctly. She said it. Jealousy is genuine. However, she presented an excuse. You're going to enjoy this one. Question for you. Do you buy what Mabrey sells here?
I upgraded to a flagrant 2 because of the way the fans reacted to it, Mabrey said, on the shove on Clark. They gave me a tech for it initially. I don't care. Honestly, I really don't. Obviously, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to go after certain players for certain, SHIT. She said, me and Caitlin were cool. She added, me and Caitlin have competed against each other in the playoffs. She threw me into the benches in the quarterfinals. We didn't go after her.
Okay, let's start with the obvious. Caitlin Clark has progressed beyond her rookie season. Nope. This is year 2. She's a confirmed professional now. The hype is still present. The statistics are still here. The records. She is nearing the end of her record-breaking streak. She is now solely focused on her own goals. A player's trading card recently sold for $317,200 at an auction. This is the 3rd highest selling ever for a Caitlin Clark card. It's one of 11 that sold for more than $100,000. And this is not even on the court. She is now injured with a groin injury. She's sitting outside. She continues to dominate the league in terms of financial performance. But this is where things become comical. Despite Clark's efforts to increase the WNBA's visibility and worth, several players continue to criticize her. Literally. Introducing Marina Ma.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Remember, this was after the whistle. This was not part of the live play. There was no ball to be contested or rebound to fight for. Only a free shot at the league's most marketable player. Mabrey is finally discussing it. She admits to Sportska's Mark Medina that she may have overreacted. Just a bit. It's like claiming the Titanic took on some water. She explained that she was upset because a teammate was being hit, which she did not approve of. She claims the incident was not personal, that she does not engage in such behavior, and that she and Clark were previously on good terms. She mentioned that Clark allegedly threw her into the benches during last year's playoffs. Mabrey claims she did not retaliate for the previous incident. Should not be seen as targeted.
Scrape across the face.
And remember,
there are a couple of issues here, Marina. First, consider last year's playoff series, which involved basketball. People were moving. The ball was in play and physical contact was a component of the game. Your shove was in response to a whistle. That is not competition. That's inexpensive. Second, you are attempting to portray this as an isolated incident. It is not. You are one of several players who have targeted Clark with inappropriate content. Kennedy refers to Carter's cheap shot. Diamond collides with Shields at full speed. Angel Reese's unintentional elbows. My teammate was getting hit, and your defense was terrible. Really weak. The replay clearly shows that Clark was not on Sheldon when you flew in. The goal was to convey a straightforward message. Here's the bit I adore. Mabrey believes her penalty was only elevated to a flagrant 2 due to fan reaction. As if the WNBA is sitting around saying, well, we were going to call it nothing, but Twitter is mad, so we better bump it up. Marina, they upgraded it because it was an egregious offense.
Mabrey follows it up and Clark pushes her. That's going to be a second foul.
The supporters are not wild. They've seen enough non-basketball plays against Clark to understand what's happening. Fortunately, no significant injuries have occurred yet in the league. Because this is the truth. Clark is already a popular player, so targeting her like this is not simply poor sportsmanship. It is horrible business. It's unacceptable for your most bankable star to be body-checked in ways that could lead to arrest in public. Let's get real. If Mabrey had done this to someone outside of an arena, such as shoving them in a grocery shop, what would happen? That is assault. Depending on the state, You may be handcuffed before reaching the parking lot. However, in the WNBA, it is just part of the game. Please. This incident, among others, is being discussed as part of a hostile work environment. Although the sentence may appear dramatic, consider its meaning. Wouldn't you have a case if someone in your office intentionally took cheap digs at you outside of your job duties? The Wall Street Journal covered the story, which quickly gained popularity. Fox News, Whitlock, and Dan Deutsch each had their own perspectives.
This incredible inability to deal with the facts and to state the obvious, it is astounding to me how Kathy Engelbert doesn't come out after the Marina Mabrey hit and say that's unacceptable. The refs got it wrong. Okay, should have been kicked out then. You weren't, but now I'm going to kick you out. You're suspended for another game or two. That's just unacceptable behavior for someone who's so important to the league or to any player, right? They can't do that. They seem paralyzed.
This is where I believe Mabrey's apologies comes from. She is not apologetic for what she did. She apologizes for the ongoing discussion, but it is part of a larger story about how some league players intentionally make Clark's life difficult. This was not solely about competition. The veterans have admitted it themselves. According to Lexi Brown's podcast, last year's rookies experienced a poisonous environment. The energy wasn't great. Why? Because the players were jealous. If it was poisonous last year, imagine what it's like this year with the rookies selling out venues and selling 300,000 cards. And that's the point. Caitlin Clark has not done anything to these players. She avoids negative comments during interviews. She is not lobbying referees for more calls. She's merely playing basketball and attracting fans. However, this alone makes her a target.
Overreacted? I feel like you're trying to cover your ass because now they're talking about investigations and now you're terrified. Now you're scared. Now you're shook. That was the real you. You're a snake. It is what it is. The game before that, when you saw Clark, you stopped her from signing autographs so you could hug her.
Now here's where things get extra funnier. Sophie Cunningham responded strongly to Mabrey's shove throughout the game. Sophie didn't just let it slip. She made it clear that disrespecting one of her teammates would result in consequences. And this is the truth of sports. Protect your own. The only difference is Sophie's shot occurred within the game's flow. Mabrey was simply an unprovoked cheap shot. This verifies what many of us have said. This is not about physical basketball. This is about resentment. Mabrey's public attempts to downplay the situation suggest she is under pressure. When you're on a limited list of players targeted by the media for harsh work environments, it's difficult to ignore. The league may ignore it, but if the feds or commissioner's office ask inquiries, you'll be forced to explain yourself. She threw me into the benches last year. That won't cut it. Video evidence shows you went after her when the ball was not in play. To understand Marina Mabrey's actions, let's take a step back and consider the context. Caitlin Clark's habit of making extra touch was not her own. Take a look back at the most memorable cheap shots. Kennedy Carter was the catalyst for the events that followed. There is no basketball play in sight. Clark jogged up the court and wham. Carter hits her from behind like it's open ice hockey. Carter went away, beaming as if she had done something brilliant. Making yourself appear petty in front of millions is a good strategy. Diamond to Shields. Oh, this one is a classic. As Clark runs down the court, Shields approaches her like a safety in an NFL blitz package. Not near the crash. The message was clear. I will make sure you hit the floor. And she did. Angel Ree. The walking controversy. Caitlin's presence seems to lead to more elbows, harsh fouls, and unintentional contact. She has had enough blunders that could fill a blooper reel. Typically, bloopers result in someone hitting the hardwood. JCS Sheldon. A poke in the eye. Yes, it is correct. Eye pokes are not the same as physical contact. We're now combining WNBA basketball and WWE heel tactics. This served as a prelude to Mabrey's spectacular entrance. Here's the kicker. Neither of these are basketball plays. We are not referring to challenging screens, rebounds, or aggressive drives to the basket. This refers to situations where the play has ended or where the contact has no connection to the ball. Do you see the pattern? because everybody else does. Some may argue that this is all part of the game. She needs to toughen up. Yeah, okay. If a coworker pushes you into the copy machine because they are dissatisfied with your performance, you should persevere and continue typing. That is not competition. That's a hostile working atmosphere. We are using that term since it is appropriate for the current situation. The Wall Street Journal did not make up this story. They analyzed the growing number of occurrences and discovered that many of the alleged fouls had an extra edge. The edge conveys that this is not about the game. This is about you. Let's be clear. Caitlin Clark's game is physical. She's not avoiding touch like the plague. She can take hits, but it's not about her ability to handle them. The question is whether the WNBA will continue to tolerate off-the-ball behavior until it becomes unsafe. And it isn't just about safety. It's about optics. Think about timing. Caitlin Clark currently represents the league. She is increasing attendance, jersey sales, media coverage, and other metrics. The league has never received this much mainstream interest. What do casual fans see when they tune in? Clark was caught off guard and subjected to physical contact after the whistle. Do you believe this gives the league a rough image? No. It makes it appear unprofessional. The current situation appears to lack control, accountability, and respect for the players who contribute to the league's positive media coverage. This brings us back to Marina Mabrey. Her overreaction was akin to a burglar admitting that they may have taken too much jewelry. No, you took the jewelry. There's no question about it. Finally, there's the "we were cool" statement. Sure, Marina. Completely believable. You were okay with her until you realized she was getting more attention, money, and accolades than you. It's merely a coincidence that your reaction was to flatten her after a whistle. Mabrey expresses her refusal to engage in such behavior. The video indicates differently. Actions speak louder than Instagram live streaming. Let's also discuss my teammate's hit angle. That is not a defense. This is not a good justification. Basketball is a contact sport. Teammates are hit.